Yesterday, it was revealed that two of the prosecutors working with the Manhattan District Attorney's Office on the ongoing Trump investigation abruptly resigned because they believe that the new Manhattan District Attorney, Alvin Bragg, is not taking the investigation seriously and that he may not even want the investigation to continue. About a month ago, these prosecutors say they actually stopped interviewing witnesses in front of the grand jury. And the reason, of course, is because they think that Bragg doesn't really think there's much of a case there. And part of the reason, to be perfectly fair, that Bragg has these feelings is because they have been trying for months and months, but failing to get Allen Weisselberg to cooperate with the investigators. And so I guess if you don't have Weisselberg's cooperation, if he's keeping his lips shut, maybe there isn't a case. Maybe they can't move forward without this cooperation from Weisselberg. But at the same time, that seems like a bit of a cop-out, right? If you're basing all of this on whether or not one guy will or will not cooperate with you, do you even have a case? Or are you trying to blame it on something because you don't want to face basically the political ramifications of taking down the former president and his children? Now that seems like the more likely case that we're dealing with right now. And let's not forget, right, this investigation was not politically motivated. I mean, even the courts have agreed with that statement. But they had a grand jury. You don't just get to randomly assemble a grand jury if you've got nothing. They clearly think they had enough to impanel a grand jury to hear witnesses in front of a grand jury. And now this new prosecutor just kind of throws his hands up and says, maybe we don't do this. This is absolutely a dereliction of duty on behalf of the new Manhattan District Attorney, Alvin Bragg. The investigation should at the very least go forward. If you don't come up with criminal charges for it, fine. Understandable, right? A lot of us obviously would like to see that, but if there's nothing there, there's nothing you can do. But if you don't allow the process to play itself out properly, without any kind of interference, which it seems that this is what this Manhattan DA is now giving them, then no, you can't have a real investigation. You cannot have real justice. You cannot look people in the eye and say, we did our due diligence on this particular issue. So what does this mean for the ongoing investigation in New York? Well, depends on which one you're looking at, right? Because there are several. But the Manhattan DA's investigation was always kind of the bread and butter, right? That was the big one. That one was a criminal investigation, unlike Letitia James' civil investigations. This is the one that would have yielded the criminal charges, or at least the one most likely to have yielded criminal charges. Now we may never know. I at this point have absolutely no hope, no faith whatsoever that this investigation in New York City is going to continue in the proper manner. So even if it does continue, it's tainted from this point forward. We don't know what's real. We don't know what's not. If they come back and say, nope, no criminal charges against anybody, how reliable is that claim going to be when your own prosecutors have already said, well, former prosecutors, you're not taking it seriously? That's the situation that we're in now. It doesn't look good for those of us who are fans of justice here in the United States. But as per usual, things always seem to break in Donald Trump's favor, and he may end up getting away with all sorts of things thanks to this new Manhattan DA.
One of today's video sponsors is Munk Pack Keto Nut and Seed Bars. Healthy snacks have a bad reputation, and let's be honest, most don't taste very good. They don't fill you up, and they certainly don't satisfy any of your cravings. Munk Pack makes snacks that taste like our favorite sugary treats, but with 1 gram of sugar or less. Munk Pack Keto Nut and Seed Bars contain 1 gram of sugar or less, 2 to 3 grams of net carbs, and they're only 150 calories. They're great for anyone following a keto lifestyle and the perfect snack for anyone who's trying to eat better or cut back on sugar and carbs without sacrificing taste. Munk Pack Keto Nut and Seed Bars have a perfect balance of sweet and salty, a crunch from whole nuts and seeds, but still manage to be soft and chewy. They come in delicious flavors like sea salt dark chocolate, caramel sea salt, and peanut butter dark chocolate. They're perfect for a quick snack to satisfy your sweet tooth without any guilt, and you can enjoy Munk Pack Keto Nut and Seed Bars as a quick breakfast while running errands or after a workout. In addition to being keto-friendly, the bars are also gluten-free, plant-based, non-GMO with no soy, trans fats, sugar alcohols, or artificial colors. So try it for yourself and you'll see, and we have a special deal for our Ring of Fire viewers. Get 20% off your first purchase of any Munk Pack product by visiting munkpack.com and entering our code ROF at checkout. And Munk Pack is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll exchange the product or refund your money, whichever you prefer. To get started, just go to munkpack.com. That's munkpack.com. Select any product, then enter code ROF at checkout to save 20% off your purchase.